Hey runners, happy Sunday, August 6th. It is 1:35 p.m. here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's very hot. Current temperature right now says 108. So we will be climbing to, I want to say our high today is supposed to be 110, 111, give or take, which I don't say it's cooler, but pretty soon we'll be getting down below 110, which is still hot. Um, we are in the first week of August, and it doesn't look like it's letting up much. Maybe this week a few degrees, and then next week it goes back up a little bit. But I'm hoping here by, oh gosh, in the next 2 weeks we can start to really see it come down. So, um, welcome to the channel. I am going to recap a little bit about my week and also cover a little bit about today's race, which was a 5K. Looking at my schedule here on the Final Surge calendar, I ran 5 days this week, and that's about norm. 5 to 6 days is what I do. Um, I am about 3 weeks from training for the Philadelphia Half Marathon, which I kick off week 1, August 28th. So, really, 3 weeks from uh, tomorrow will be the training begins. So, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, let me take you through the week. Um, Looking here at the schedule, Tuesday was a speed workout day. I did that at the track. It was a 2x8 by 2x400. And I was getting ready for the 5K race later in the week, which was today, Sunday. And I was focusing on doing a 5K pace at 800 and 2x4. So 2x8, 2x4, and 2x2. The 2x8s and 2x4 we're going to be at 5K pace, and then the 2x4 a little bit quicker. I did well. My splits were about 340, what was it, 340, 355. And looking at the rest here, 347, because I had kind of accidentally messed up my splits or hitting it on the watch. So those were my two splits, 355 and 347. So about 351, give or take, which is good. And then I had a 1.5 minute recovery, and then a 2x4 at 5K, shooting for about 157. And on those, I was doing a 149. Excuse me. Go back here. I was doing basically, 149s on average, which is good. I was trying to shoot for 157, so I think I did another one a little bit slower than that, but it was good. And then I finished up with a fast 400, which I like to do most of the time, and I did that in 126, which was a little bit slower than what I normally I'm able to do for the last fast 400. Usually I can do about 120, but I was definitely tired. I could tell on that workout. So that went well, and that was on Tuesday at the track. And then a recovery run on Wednesday, 3 miles. I didn't feel good at all. I think it was pretty hot that morning. Just kind of looking at the notes, low 90s. Felt so miserable and hot, but thankfully it was a recovery run. So that pretty much sums it up. And then on Thursday, I ran with my wife and a friend of ours, and we just covered 3 miles, and that was pretty good. And then took Friday off, and then a shakeout run. I like to do a shakeout run, and a shakeout run, for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's basically just like an easy kind of run. You might do some strides at the end, just to get your legs turning over a little bit, before the race, the day before the race. So I did that. I did 4 miles. That one felt pretty good. And then today we 5K race. So the race is part of what we have here in Phoenix. It's called the Summer Series 5K. It's put on by a local running group, Arizona Roadracers, and it starts in May, and they usually have, I believe, one in May, one in June, two in July, and then one in August. Yep. And so today's run was in a town called Laveen, which is not too far from here. It's about 25-mile drive, and in fact, that's where we used to live. It's north. I'm sorry, just a bit northwest, and there's actually a mountain range here called South Mountain. We live in a town called Ahwatukee, which is south of that, and north of it is Laveen. So we used to live there about 7 years ago. We bought our first house there and lived there for about 11 years. So we've only been back a couple times, and we got to go back there. The race was held at the park, which is about a mile from our old house. So we haven't seen it in a while. So they've really kind of, I guess, built that area up and around where we used to live. And then we got to see our house after the race, just to kind of, see if the neighborhood's changed a little bit. It has. It's probably gotten a little bit older, but anyways, brought back some memories. Nonetheless, getting to the race. So we got to the race, and the race was supposed to start at 6:30. So we got there about 5:30. We usually like to get to the race about an hour to 50 minutes before. Pick up our packet, our bibs if we didn't pick it up, say the day before, and then we get a little bit of a warm up. So the race was held at a park. When we got there, the volunteer said that the race was going to be starting later. They were thinking like maybe 20 minutes. They weren't sure. So keep in mind, it's early August in Phoenix. 6:30 is hot enough. It was probably 87 degrees or so by 6:30 when the race should have started. And the race actually started, I could tell you, because I looked at my watch when I hit the split, and it says 6:51, so almost 7 o'clock. I believe the temperature then was close to 90 degrees, maybe low 90s, and it's warm. Nonetheless, as runners, we adapt to the environment, to whatever is happening, and just get our minds focused and go out there and do the best we can. So when the race started, the course is laid out where we run on grass for a little bit, and then we get on kind of like this little path that goes around this little pond, and then we get back onto the grass, and then we go out onto a road, paved road, and then we cross a little bit of dirt, and then we go on dirt for, I want to say, about half a mile and then a half mile back. So there's a little bit of different terrain, but the tricky part is the grass, because the grass is not nice and smooth. There's a lot of little bumps and like little divots and holes in there you got to watch out for. I actually saw a guy early on when we made the first pass through the grass where he kind of rolled his ankle a little bit, his left ankle, and he popped back up and was able to go. So, I just kept running, as quick as I could, and was looking down just to make sure I was aware of my footing. But you can never tell because it's pretty thick, and we just do the best we can. So fortunately, in the first part, I was able to avoid any, disaster. But my first mile, I told myself the day before the race, and even a few days, knowing that it's going to be hot, 90 degrees, that I don't get overcooked, especially early on, is to go out a little more conservative. That was priority. And then second was just to be able to, run hard and have a good race. Getting under 25 would be really good. And if I was in the low 25s, understandable because of the hot temperature, especially with the half hour almost late start. So when the gun went off, they have it in waves. They've got your 20 minutes and under group going. It's an honor system basically, and then after that, it's they call it the 8 minute and under. So the first group goes. I'm definitely not a 20 minute and under guy, so I wait for them to go, and then about a minute or so, the next group he calls out like the 8 and under um, group. So I get up there because I'm usually around a 24 and change. So I get up there and I take off and I'm running probably a little quicker than I need to. When I get to the first mile, it registers 7:47, so that's a little bit quicker. But I'm also feeling tired, but I'm not feeling like I went out too quick yet. Um, and then a friend of ours when we lived in Levine, she ran as well, and she lives in the area. Uh, she pulled right up to me, I want to say around the half-mile mark, and just kind of like sat on my shoulder. So we were running together, very close. I felt like she could have went further, but I think she was using me to help pace her and just run together. And we did that for about a half a mile. And then when we got just past the mile, she was starting to break away a little bit. Not terribly far, but it was a couple seconds, and then it got to like 10 seconds. Um, so I just, a mile and a half, I just said it's way too early for me to even try to. I think I could have got up to her, but then I think I would have been spent. So I already went a little quicker on the first mile. That first mile, I would have been probably happy with an 8, maybe even a little bit slower, but I went quicker. I saw her on the turnaround at the 2 mile mark, and she was probably a good 15, 20 seconds ahead of me. And then I just, was trying to stay aggressive and keep a good pace, knowing that my second mile was considerably slower. It was 8:08, or yeah, 8:08, 8:07 for the second mile. So I had to make up a little bit of ground on that. Let me just look. It said 8:07. So 7:47, 8:07. That's 13. That's 20 seconds that I gave up on the second mile. So knowing that I have a little bit of kick at the end, if I could just manage, holding pace, which I was running just under 8 minutes at the time after the second mile. If I can get myself to, a quarter mile and then start to pick it up a little bit and then really finish strong in that last 100, 150 meters, I can make up some ground. And that's what I did. I was able to finish. My third mile came in at 7:58, so good. And then the last tenth of a mile was a 6:01 pace. It was grass, so you have to kind of watch out. There's those little divots, and you got to be careful. I don't know if anybody fell, but I wouldn't be surprised because it's a little tricky. It's bumpy. But, I ran as hard as I could, just be as careful as I could, and then cross the line. And I finished in 24:37, which I believe was a 7:55 pace. My watch said 3.13, so that's anything that's within 0.05 to me is, well marked, and I ran within the tangents. So yeah, I felt good about it. My time, like I said, 24:37. That had me finishing 103rd out of 329. So, what's that? A little bit better than the third. 30%, top 30% of the field. And my age was 8 out of 16. There's a lot of guys that are. I'm 50 to 54, and there's a lot of really strong runners in that age. Actually, I don't think I really looked at the age groups closely to see really how close I was, but let's just take a look here and see where I actually kind of fell. So I was 8th out of 16. The first place guy my age finished in 19 minutes. That's insane. And then 21:02, 22:30, 23:20, 24:05, 23:19, 24:36. That's not right. How did he get up ahead of me? I guess the way they have it kind of set up. I don't get it. The way they do their times here. Um, Nonetheless, I was eighth, and um, you know, I would have to run pretty quick to get up into the top three. So, no, I was happy with it. My wife took first place in her age, a little over 20 minutes. She was hoping to get under 21 would be great, and she did. And so we had some friends also do the race, and my sister-in-law did the race. I was able to beat my sister-in-law. She's a pretty good runner. Um, you know, was able to kind of push it out there, and all of us were really close. And felt, I'd say, it's hard to really put into context like how you really feel when the temperature is 90, 2 degrees. You just go out there and you just run as best as you can. You don't overcook it. But I did go a little quicker in the first mile. If I had gone a little slower, maybe go 8. That second mile, I would, maybe keep 8 minutes, and then the third mile, be able to get it in a little quicker. So that 24:37 could turn into like a 24:15 or 10. But really, I'm not that far off from other races that I've done recently for the 5K. My times lately, I'll just take a look here on the 5K records that I have and kind of see. So my 5Ks lately, they've been basically, I'm going to say from all of this year, I've run 23:43, 24:27, 24:22, 25:37, and 24:37. So that's a 24:33 pace. I'm pretty much right on. Taking the weather like today, and then going back to like March when I did 23:43, I've been pretty consistent. I'm happy with it, especially in the heat. So the workouts are working. I'm still maintaining a good level of fitness, and if I can just hang on for another month, with the weather hopefully starting to cool down in a couple weeks, or by the end of this month a little bit, as we get through September as well, then October should feel nice. So overall, I'm pleased. It was good to see a lot of people out there. It's unfortunate that the race started later. There were some issues, I guess, with the vehicle, with the timers. I get it. Things happen. But in the summer, I'd rather have it happen in the winter time. But nonetheless, we were able to do it. We got to see some friends out there. Got to go by our old house and kind of look at the area. So a good day. So hope you guys are doing well. Comment down below what you guys are doing for your summer training, any races over the weekend, or anything coming up. I'd love to hear from you and where you're watching this video from. Coming up soon, let's see, no races for the remainder of August, and then in the second week of September, we are heading down south to Tucson, which is about an hour and a half away. And I'll be doing a 5K. I've done their 10K before. It's a hilly race, and we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. The weather will still probably be a little warm, but it is a little cooler down there. So we've got about a month. Hopefully we get a little bit of a cold spell, and we can really start to tear it up. And in 3 weeks, I'll be training for the Philadelphia Half Marathon, and just continue to get my training in. Runs are going well, staying hydrated, and all that good stuff. So be safe out there. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great rest of your weekend, and enjoy your coming week. Thanks again. Take care.